We had started as an online store. And then before we know it, we opened our first shop, then our second, then our third, then our fourth, then our fifth, then our sixth, then our seventh. And we literally had retail stores all over South Africa. We had a factory that was making the garments, and it was a flourishing business. And our biggest avenue for growing that business was social media. It was Facebook.
Let me introduce to you the new kid on the block. Mel Lavi is a new skincare range that recently launched. It is for face and for body. We deal with hyperpigmentation, anti-aging, wrinkles, natural glow. We also deal with dark inner areas. We target dark inner thighs, dark armpits, dark neck, dark elbows, dark knees, you name it. We also have a shaving combo. This shaving combo deals with ingrowns and shaving bumps. Both men and women can use this good quality product shaving range. We've got good actives in our product from glycolic acid, hyaluronic acid, kojic acid, and many more. You can contact us on the WhatsApp number that is popping on the screen, or you can reach out to us on all our social media platforms. We are here for all your skin needs. Hi everyone, this is the Working Wife, the Working Woman podcast, and I'm your host, Promise Makunyane. This podcast is really about women working, inspiring each other. It doesn't only have to be in business. We are advising corporate women. We're advising any other woman that is hustling, is working, is doing something for themselves to come here and have a conversation with us so that we can inspire each other. I always say that it's good to have a man do stuff for you, but it's even much more better if you can also afford to do stuff for yourself. My t-shirt is opening and I'm continuing, okay? Anyway, guys, we do have a sister podcast. It's called O Narrative Podcast. It airs on Wednesday. Every Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and it is about marriage and family dynamics. And this particular one is fairly new and it airs every Sundays at 6 p.m. Anyway, guys, today's guest is let me you know what, we had the conversation. I'm so glad that we had the conversation about you being a serious person and me being intimidated prior to us sitting, because I was so worried when I've got a list of people that I want to sit with on this podcast, and I always want to prepare. There are those ones that I really need to prepare. And when you said, am I serious? I'm like, Batung hate. What? You know that you're a serious person.
Am I?
You are. Hate. Anyway, ma'am, welcome to the podcast and thank you for making time for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So in this particular podcast, we start with icebreakers that are going to just help us relax and bring down our nerves, my nerves particularly. So the first icebreaker is, if you had to teach a class on one thing, what would it be and why?
I would teach a class on confidence.
Confidence.
I would definitely teach a class on confidence. As a monetization expert, I help businesses, I help corporates, personal brands to be able to find their niche, that unique thing that they're good at, and finding ways to monetize it. But one of the biggest caveats to that is that you need to build your confidence first to be able to show up. And for a lot of us, confidence is a very, very big stumbling block.
Yeah.
And so I have found that it's a space that I can hold space for others in that, for them to be able to believe in their magic, believe in their source, that thing that makes them unique, and that they bring to the world without having to be a Hetty, without having to be a promise, that just as you are is enough. And how do you sit and rest in that enoughness so that you can show up in the world and contribute to it. And then through that, you monetize. Yeah. So definitely I would teach a confidence class to men and women. A lot of people perceive that it's women in particular that need the help. You'd be shocked at how many men come to me and ask, how do I speak more confidently? How do I articulate myself better? How do I deal with imposter syndrome? How do I overcome procrastination?
Yeah.
So this is something that's permeating through our society on both sides. It just shows up differently for men and women, but it's there.
True. Are you a night or a day person?
You, girl, it's a tricky one. I'll say I'm a day person. I'll say I'm a day person. When I track back to when I was younger, I would always wake up with a kick in my step. I would always be eager and ready to go, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. But as life went along and, you know, we experience things that tend to dim our light, I stopped being a morning person because I was battling depression and anxiety. And so as a result of that, I would procrastinate facing the day because I did not have the capacity to do so. But once I was able to actually do the inner work and work on myself, you actually begin to reset. It's almost like you go back to factory settings. And then I was able to remember that actually I love waking up in the morning. I love that fresh air. I love being able to pray and spend time with God. I love being able to hear the birds chirp and just set my intention for the day before I started. So I'm definitely a morning person, and I've learned to remember that.
What you say is so powerful because most of us, especially when you are not in tune with self or when you are not in therapy, you get to think that I am this person, not knowing that in your past there was a moment that actually altered everything for you and made you the person that you are now.
Exactly. We are not our coping mechanism.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. If you would eliminate one thing about your day, what would it be?
One thing about my day, eliminate. What would I eliminate? Maybe too much admin.
Okay.
Maybe too much admin. But I'm learning that admin, it's also growing me as a person. You know, it's also, because we get refined in the things we don't enjoy.
That's correct.
So we have to, it's there. It provides friction because that's where we grow. You know, a diamond doesn't become the sparkly thing without undergoing that fire. So, but if I could and had the luxury of it, I'd probably eliminate admin so that I can do so much more of what I love to do.
Your strength.
Yeah.
Any code you live by? Or you like, really?
Yes, I live by Proverbs 18:16, which is that your gifts will make room for you and they will put you in the presence of great men.
That's true.
Yeah.
True. Lastly, best advice you ever received?
The best advice that I ever received was prevention is better than cure. It's such a common one, but there's so many things that are preventable just through communication, just through advanced planning, just through forward looking. And sometimes we should be pedantic. You know, we should concentrate on the finer details. Because we want the outcome. So prevention's better than cure. That's something that my father taught me, and he hammers it.
Yeah. And in the Bible, it's the same as obedience is better than sacrifice. You know, if you just be obedient the first time, you won't have to sacrifice.
Absolutely. It's just that it's so scary.
It is.
It's so scary to be obedient.
It is.
And it's so isolating, Promise.
Yeah.
It is so isolating. I mean, you are doing this podcast. There may have been naysayers who are like, I Promise, what do you think you're doing? Having a podcast, what do you know? But when you're obedient to that call, you don't know how it's going to pan out. You don't know how you're going to finance it. You don't even know any of those things. But there's that thing inside of you that is saying, go in this direction. And because you are obedient to that, the path then begins to unveil itself as you go along. But it's not easy, and
It's
it can
scary.
really isolate you from people who are comfortable with the current promise.
Yeah.
As opposed to the vision that you have for yourself.
100%. You're so right.
Yeah.
And I think it requires a lot of faith and
Yes.
faith in yourself. Like you have to have
Absolutely.
faith in yourself, faith in what you have heard
Yes.
God tell you to do.
Yes.
And yeah. Anyway, before you introduce yourself, I would like us to do it like this. So about your childhood, right? Tell me about a moment in your childhood that you think people must know about, that stood out for you when you would want to introduce yourself,
Yeah.
little Hetty, a childhood memory that stand out for you that you'd like us to know of.
What is a childhood memory that stands out?
For little Hetty.
You know, there's a story that my mom tells me about my little cousin. And we're exactly the same age. He's a boy, I'm a girl, and he's very big in stature.
Yeah.
But somehow along the way, he was getting bullied.
With his big body.
With his big body and everything, it just made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
And there I went as tiny little Hetty, and I went to tell them that if you put one finger on him or you say anything to him, you will see.
Oh my gosh.
And since then, he was left completely alone.
Yeah.
And for me, when my mom tells me that story, it helps me to understand myself better.
That was my next question. Yeah.
Because I am not the person that people see coming. I consider myself to be an underdog.
Yeah.
I'm not the typical person that people would think would be known or anything like that.
You really are an underdog.
I am an underdog, and I'm very aware of that, and I embrace it. I use it actually to my favor. So in that scenario, nobody would have thought that little old me would be the person coming to stand up for him. And I've seen that pattern throughout my life. And it is that in as much as you don't see me coming, when I arrive, you cannot ignore
You will
me.
know.
And that's how I live.
Sure. That's powerful. Introducing yourself now.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do?
Okay, so I'm Hetty the Entrepreneur. And as the name implies, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I've got several businesses. The one that I'm most popularly known for within the online space is within coaching and mentoring of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I also do a lot of training for entrepreneurs, especially within corporates as well. And I'm also what I would say is a bit of a bridge or a catalyst between entrepreneurs and corporates in order for entrepreneurs to access various resources that help them grow their businesses, from funding to mentorship, to various programs and education, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm an entrepreneur who has got a platform to help other entrepreneurs and corporates to access those entrepreneurs.
You know, you are so... I learned about you at... I learned about you at Mpumi's Unlimited Fest.
Really?
This year, but you were not there.
Yes.
So I was sitting with Mabutla,
Yes.
the owner of the Fortress venue.
Yes.
I was sitting with Norma,
Yes.
CEO of, I think,
Zianda. Yes.
Group. And they were talking about your event Norma's event that was following, Brunch with Norma.
Yes.
And then Mabutla was like, no, you must come. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know Norma. I didn't know you. And then she was like, no, they're powerful women. You learn a lot from them. You know, Mabutla just likes praising women and putting up women. And that's how now I got to know about Norma. And then I collaborated with Norma with my branded bars. And then when I got there, that's when I knew you.
Yes.
You know? And that's why I'm saying you're an underdog, because the things I've heard about you and the things that you were saying there, when I started looking at your page, I was like, where has she been all my life? You know, you do amazing things. And why I say it was important for me to get to know you is because like these things of funding, you know, for small businesses, mentoring, for me, it's like a far-fetched thing. I don't think I did not even think about those things. I don't even think those things are applicable to me or are important. Do you understand? So speaking about mentoring, how important is mentoring for anyone, small business owners or entrepreneurs or even corporate people? How important is mentoring?
Mentoring, I think, is very important for absolutely every single one of us. And there is no stage in our journey where I feel that we can outgrow mentoring.
Yeah.
Because at every level that we reach, there's something new to be learned and to be mentored on. You may outgrow your mentor.
Yeah.
So,
or you may outgrow your mentor.
You absolutely can outgrow your mentor, and then you graduate to another mentor.
Okay.
But I do think that absolutely all of us need mentorship. I've been privileged to be mentored by some of the best mentors in the world, and they themselves also have mentors as well. It's important for us to be able to get the roadmap and guidance of where we want to be, the GPS coordinates to the destination we want to go. If you want to go from Pretoria to Johannesburg, you take the GPS because it's going to show you the fastest way to get there. Avoiding roadblocks, road closures, and all of those things. Without it, you're going to be feeling your way in the dark. You will reach your destination eventually, but it could take you double or triple the time when you could have actually taken the fastest route to get there. And that's what mentorship does. You're speaking to somebody who has walked that path. Now, mentoring is different to coaching. And a lot of people confuse the two.
Okay.
And they'll come and ask you for mentorship when in actual fact they need coaching. So it's important for us to be able to understand at this stage that I'm in, is it coaching that I need or is it mentorship that I need?
Okay.
So mentorship gives you the roadmap. It's the GPS coordinates. A coach sits in the car with you and drives with you on the destination.
I need a coach. Yes, I hear you.
You understand? So there, a coach is almost like your implementation buddy. You are going to be executing, but when you hit a speed hump, when you hit a pothole, when there's a road closure and you need to take a detour, your coach is able to say, navigate this way, do this, do that. Whereas your mentor is someone you do not see as frequently, but they are giving you the high level vision.
I hear you.
They're giving you the blueprint, but your responsibility is to go and execute. So your mentor is often somebody very senior in where they are. You might see them once a quarter. You might see them twice a year. I've had mentors that I've seen twice a year, but when I see them, it is good enough to sustain me for a good 18 months.
I hear.
Because they've given me the blueprint. I must now go out there and execute. I must problem solve. Now, whether you are seeking a mentor or a coach, none of the two absolves you from doing the work. None of them absolves you. You have to go out there. You have to be in the trenches. You have to get your hands and your nails and your skin dirty. And also, your mentor and your coach does not owe you anything. They do not owe you a shout out on social media. They do not owe you an introduction to anybody. They do not owe you tickets to a fancy event that they are going to. It is important for us to understand the role that people play in our lives and to honor our destiny helpers for their role in opening a door and then understanding our responsibility once we've entered that door. So we must be very careful of the entitlement we come into these relationships with because you can spoil something that is so, so good. Unintentionally, by the way. It's not like you're entitled and all of these things. Sometimes we don't realize it. And And once you have nurtured those relationships, then you are able to come into contact with your sponsor. And that is your champion. Often at times, if you develop a good enough relationship with your mentor, they often graduate to become your sponsor. Because your mentor is an individual whose name is worth their weight in salt. So if they're going to say, speak to Promise, I think that she would be really good for this.
Yeah.
That's all they need to say. When those people approach you, they're not asking for your CV. They're not asking for a body of evidence or proof of work. By virtue of the referral alone, you are in there.
You're in.
And the trust is that when you go in there, you're not going to disgrace them.
Yeah.
You understand? And so we need to be able to understand the difference.
Yeah.
So sometimes you've met Promise for 2 minutes and you expect her to sponsor you when she doesn't even know what you stand for.
Yeah.
You know, because then it's no longer even about can you do the job. It's an integrity issue.
Yeah.
It is a character issue. Yeah.
Sure. You just unpacked a lot of things, especially when you also speak about your mentor does not owe you
Absolutely nothing.
Does not owe you a shout out on social media.
No.
Does not owe you a ticket to an event.
No.
And
I pay my mentors.
You pay your mentors.
I do. Mentorship is also not a CSI project. It is not. And you are also not a charity case. Because the moment you view yourself as a charity case, you are going to conduct yourself, your business, and your career as a charity case.
True.
Where you are happy to accept handouts and crumbs. But when you treat yourself, your business, and your career, because even your career is your business.
Yeah.
When you treat it as a business, you know that you need to invest in it in order to get a return on your investment.
Yeah.
And so I pay my mentors so that they know that I'm taking the time that I am spending with them seriously. I have got mentors that I book for speaking events and all of that. I pay their full fee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I understand the value that they bring.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I've received that back tenfold.
You keep referring to mentors. Do you have mentorship or mentors for different parts of your life?
I do. I've got more than one mentor. I've got business mentors. And these are individuals that help me just in the growth of my business and the direction of my business. I've also got what I call a board of advisors. So these are individuals where, think of a big organization.
Yeah.
Because if we are a business, then we need to think of ourselves like an organization. And when you have an organization, you've got your board of directors, which are able to make decision making on the strategy that you're using going forward. So I have exactly the same thing. I've got a board of advisors.
Yeah.
These are people in different industries. They don't do the same thing as me, but they have recognized me, my talent, and what I have to bring to the table.
I hear.
These are people that are not threatened by you in any way, shape, or form. They can be your age mates, below, or even above you. And these are people that you can sit down strategically with and say, I'm at a crossroads of making XYZ decision. Can we unpack it? And they give you advice that is coming from a wise place of counsel.
I hear you.
And these are people that are genuinely happy for your success. And where they're raising a red flag, it is because there is genuine concern that they want you to take cognizance of. So I've got that. I've also got spiritual mentors as well to help keep me grounded in my purpose and reason for why I am here. And so mentorship is not just limited to what we do professionally.
Yeah.
There are people who've got mentors for their marriage. You know, they're people who've got mentors for parenting, for their health and their wellness, for their mental health.
Yeah.
And so do not be afraid to seek mentors for the area of your life that you are focused on in this particular season. That's okay.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So is it possible for me to have like a life coach as well as a mentor?
It is.
And then they don't know each other, or should they now know each other and understand where I'm going as Promise Makunyane, the entrepreneur, the podcaster? I've got a coach in my car going with me, and I've got, I'll say, an overseer as a mentor.
Yeah.
I can have and do those people have to know each other, or they can be
Not
different?
necessarily.
Okay.
They don't necessarily have to know each other. I think it is important in the execution that you do with your coach that they understand the vision that you have crafted with your mentor, because now they're helping you execute upon that.
Yeah.
And for them to understand based on what premise have we painted this picture that I'm helping you put these puzzle pieces together. So it's like, for example, having a dietitian.
Yeah.
You'll go to a dietitian and say, this is what my health is looking like, and they'll draw out a plan. But then when you go to gym, your coach is the one who says 1 more rep. 2 more reps, because they are helping you execute upon the vision you came up with your dietitian.
You know, the more you unpack coaching and mentorship, Hetty, I get to diagnose myself from now why I've not been looking at those avenues. I think it's because it requires a lot of accountability.
It does.
It requires a lot of waking up and doing the work and being accountable to someone. I think. And that's where I'm trying to go out of, because I want to just have like a straight line of knowing where I'm going. I don't think currently I know where I'm going. It's just like I'm just pedaling wherever that I have to go, which is not good. I even see it in the finances. They are coming, but then there's no like straight, I have to do this much has to come in. And that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. That's why you're here. I'm trying to put my life in order.
Yes.
Yeah. So where does your working life start? Have you just started being an entrepreneur, or you've started in corporate? Did you study?
I did. So I studied political science. I did a minor in English. And when I finished at university, I went into corporate. I worked at a merchant bank. And that was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was really, really great.
Yeah.
In 2010, my husband and I got married. So that was the year Philip was here. It was exciting. There was a buzz and energy in the air.
Yes.
And it just felt like there was a world of possibility.
Yeah.
There was just that something. So we got married, and on honeymoon, we were just, daydreaming and thinking about our lives together and how it's going to look. And we realized, actually, we want to be able to spend as much time with each other as possible.
Yeah.
And at the time, both of us were working in very demanding jobs at these banks.
He was also working for a bank.
He was also working for a bank. And we thought, geez, with the work that we're doing, in as much as we're earning well, we're grateful, it's good positions, we're barely going to see each other. So what is the alternative? We're like, maybe we need to start a business.
Yeah.
And so we started reading business books. The first one that we read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
I think that's where most people start. And then you kind of graduate and learn more from there. And that's where we learned about the different streams of income. And I remember this one day, I was in the office. And then I went outside and I saw these ladies sitting at a restaurant, and you could see that they'd been there for quite some time, and they were having a meal, and they were not in a rush to head back to a boardroom or to a meeting or anything. And I could see this is old money. And there is something that clicked in my brain, that what if there's more than one way to make money? That you don't only have to make money by having one job, one income, and being beholden to these organizations where you're spending 80% of your life at work.
Yeah.
And so I began to explore. We began to attend business seminars and things. And so we opened our own business. It was a retail business, a clothing business.
Okay.
Yeah, called P&H Boutique. And interestingly, we were juggling our corporate work and the business. And so that was my biggest kind of foray into business. I'd done little things before in university, but this was the biggest one.
Yeah.
And by just learning the art of how to monetize, I was not a fashion designer.
Yeah.
That was not my calling. And in fact, fashion designers really didn't take a liking to myself and my husband, because how dare we enter their space and then come and dominate?
Yeah.
Because we started in the spare bedroom of our home. Then we graduated to our garage because people would come and want to see the clothes.
Yeah.
We had started as an online store. And then before we know it, we opened our first shop, then our second, then our third,
Yeah.
then our fourth, then our fifth, then our sixth,
No.
then our seventh. And we literally had retail stores all over South Africa. We had a factory that was making the garments. And it was a flourishing business.
Yeah.
And our biggest avenue for growing that business was social media. It was Facebook.
Wow.
So Facebook gave me the ability to leave a good paying job with benefits and with bonuses to be able to become a full-time entrepreneur. That was in 2016. And then that very same thing was able to free my husband to also leave a good paying job with benefits and bonuses in 2017. And that is when our dream became realized of becoming full-time entrepreneurs. There was something crazy in our minds that said, what if we can actually design our own lives? What if one day when we become parents, we can be full-time parents?
Yeah.
We talk about stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads, but we don't talk about stay-at-home parents.
Oh, okay.
You know, what if there's a different way of navigating this world? Because everything that we currently do, it is to serve one purpose, to earn an income so that we can live.
Yeah.
Surely there must be multiple ways of doing that. And so we use this business as a vehicle. But what I realized when it comes to the art of being able to make money from something is that if you learn the formula, you can actually replicate it in many different ways. Like I said, we had no business being in the fashion industry. And that's why we were irritating people's spirit.
Yeah.
Because there are people who studied this, who are making immaculate designs and were struggling to keep their doors open.
What you're saying was actually my next question, or one of the questions that we're going to ask, because you just said that you were not into fashion, you know, but we often hear that you need to do what you love. But what you're saying is that you can know what you love and do what you love. But if you don't know how to monetize what you love, then...
Yeah, then you're just a well-kept secret.
Meaning that if you know the ins and the outs or how to monetize, you can sell anything.
You absolutely can. So you can marry passion and profit.
Yes.
You can marry what you love to do together with profit, but you need to know how to generate that profit. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. There'll be a fabulous dancer, a wonderful painter, a really good content creator, but their bank balance does not reflect that.
Yeah.
And then you get Hetty, who's far less followers, whose bank balance reflects that.
Yeah.
Because it is a skill in and of itself to be able to make money from what you are good at. And we often focus on the thing that we enjoy as opposed to how do I utilize this thing I enjoy as a vehicle to pay me. And that's why I said that's my favorite quote from the Bible, because this is a biblical principle that your gifts will make room for you. And it will place you before great men.
Yeah.
That means it is going to allow you to enter rooms that you did not even imagine for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are in obedience to that gift.
That's so good. Like, that's so, so good. And I know it. I've heard it a lot of time. But after everything that you've said and you are saying it, it's just hitting me that...
Yeah.
Sure, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
That was our journey into entrepreneurship, particularly as a family. And this became a family business. And we grew and grew and grew. And then what eventually happened was COVID.
Yes.
In March of 2020. And I often say that a lot of us remember where we were when Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement of going into initially 21 days lockdown. Because I think on a very profound level, we all experience collective trauma. We were afraid. We were afraid for ourselves. We're afraid for our jobs. We're afraid for our businesses. We're afraid for the health of our family. We didn't know what was going to come next. And there we were having to close all our retail shops, our factory, and to just sit put. And so I remember a moment where I was sitting in the sitting room, and I think I was just having a God moment because I was just saying, okay, Lord, now what?
Now what?
And something occurred to me that what if this is an opportunity for you to redesign your life? What if?
What if?
And there was a question that rested on my spirit. And for anybody that's watching this, who is at a crossroads, you don't know what to do with your life, or this is the question. It was, if time and money were not a factor, what would you be doing with your life?
If time
and money were not a factor, what would you be doing with your life? A lot of people have time, but they don't have money. There are a lot of people who have money, but they don't have time. And often at times, we are spending our time in the pursuit of money. If money was not the outcome, would we be still doing the things that we do every day? So if time and money were not a factor, what would you be doing with your life? What time would you be waking up in the morning? What food would you be eating? Where would you be living? Where would your children be going to school? What would you be doing for your loved ones? What would you be doing in your spare time? Just how would you show up in the world and navigate the world? If time and money were not a factor, what would you be doing with your life?
Hetty, I'll be living a crazy life, like a life of my dreams.
Right? And so I sat there and I thought, okay. And I began to write. Because in as much as we had built this phenomenal business, it robbed us of so much. Retail, you work on weekends. You miss out on special occasions of loved ones that you would have wished to be there. But you're on the road. We did lots and lots of pop-up shops and all kinds of things. And so we just were not available to the people that we loved because we were sacrificing for our business. And look, there is a season for that. But then I realized that if I had a choice, I will actually want to be able to work flexibly. I want to mentor and impart people. I want to have a business that can allow me to operate from anywhere in the world. I should be on a mountaintop and be able to earn money. And so through writing those things down and really having that courage to dream again, because I often find that as life happens to us, we lose the ability to dream. Because it's overtaken by bills and responsibilities and whatever society is telling us we should show up as. So having that courage to dream again allowed me to just redefine actually what do I want from my life. Now, when you're doing this exercise, it's going to feel very silly. Because the truth is that you don't know how it's going to manifest. I'm writing all these things. I want a digital business. I want to earn in multiple currencies. I want to be able to impact lives. How is that going to happen? Right? But there is an interesting thing that happens even physiologically, that the minute you put something down, your brain does not know the difference between fact and fiction. So your brain now begins to orchestrate and see opportunities to make this thing happen because it is not aware that it's impossible.
It's us who's telling our brains that are not.
Precisely. We are the ones who bring the blockages. I mean, nobody says to a baby, you can never walk. They see people walking, they're like, oh, okay, let me also try. And then they fall down and they try again. They don't say, oh, I've fallen down, therefore I'll never walk again. That's the thinking and conditioning that comes with age over time. But that's not our natural disposition. So just allowing yourself to go there is the first step in building it. And so through that, I then was like, okay, how do I do this? You know what? Let me take my smartphone and just start sharing my knowledge on Instagram, my business knowledge, and see who is drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I will build my tribe and community from there, and let's see from there. I didn't have long to-do lists, long vision or whatever. My aim for the first year was one thing: go online and share my knowledge for a full year solid. And once I've done that, from year 2, I will monetize that.
How was the first year?
The first year was amazing. My first Instagram live was an absolute disaster.
I'm sure.
It was a disaster. I think there were like 2 people on there. It was terrible. I was embarrassed. Abantu bazothini. Here I am coming. I'm calling myself Hetty the Entrepreneur. Like, who exactly do I think I am?
Sure. Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And
your factory just closed. Your shops are closed.
Exactly.
You are still calling yourself.
And I'm here doing the things.
Yeah.
You know? But I was shocked over time because of consistency. People were tuning in. People were asking questions. And then people start saying, how do I book a mentorship session? How do I book time with you? You know, and it literally grew from there. And before you knew it, we've got an agency. We're doing work for different organizations. But it grew from just literally having that audacity to dream and being obedient to that call.
Sure. And you're doing this with your husband. How do you do it? How do I do it? I would fight with my husband in jail. We'll be fighting for a pen on the table. How do you do it?
You know, first and foremost, I think it's important to release women to say we don't all need to work with our husbands.
Yeah. That's true.
Can we just establish that? Because, you know, we see these power couples online and it's so aspirational and it looks so incredible that we think we all need to be that. We don't.
Yeah.
You know, some couples can work together and some are better not working together but supporting each other in whatever their endeavors may be. Because your business partner, whether it is your husband, your boyfriend, your friend, or any other person, there's certain qualities they need to have. And you need to have a shared vision in order for you to be able to build the business together. And you need to be able to fill in the gap for each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're lucky and you find those qualities in your husband, great.
Yeah.
But you might find it in someone else that you are able to gel with on a business level.
Yeah.
So do not try and force having this power couple business relationship at the cost of the real prize, which is your family.
Your family. Oh, I like that.
Let's not forget the hierarchy in which all these things play in our lives. You know, if my business is going to come at the sacrifice of my family, I'd rather stop it. And I think we need to be very clear about that.
We need to.
Yeah. So I love working with my husband. He is a very good support system. So both he and I work for Hetty the Entrepreneur. When I'm at home, I'm just Hetty. I'm not Hetty the Entrepreneur. I'm a wife. I am playing that particular role.
Yeah.
So we both work and are in service to the work that we do for Hetty the Entrepreneur.
You both work for Hetty the Entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
How do you guys come up with this name? Is it because you had already started building the...
So he came up with it.
Wow.
So in building the personal brand, because when we did P&H Boutique, it was Papa, it was Hetty, it was both of our names. But with this, he was like, you know what? I think it's okay. You can be front-facing. I have no problem.
Yeah.
I know we're building this together, but I have no issues with you being front-facing.
Yeah.
So he was the one who pushed me to the forefront.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love how... I didn't know that you work with your husband. I didn't even know that is your husband until we came to that. What was it? Funding with?
Yes.
With the event that you did.
Yes.
Was it with Nedbank?
It was with Old Mutual.
Old Mutual.
Yeah.
And then somebody else sitting next to your people that are always your girls, you know. They were like, oh, that's Hetty's husband. Because I was like, this is my first time. They're like, that's her husband. I'm like, what? You know? I'm always so amazed at couples working together because I've already established that myself and my husband, we can work together. At least now, not even we can work together.
Yeah.
In the stage of us, we can work together. We are just good lovers and good parents.
Yes.
And supporting each other from
Yes.
me supporting his work.
Yes.
But when I saw you guys, I was like, this is beautiful, you know, and do you have a separate life outside your husband, or he's also your friend?
Gosh, he is so many things. He really is so many things. He is actually my best friend, I must say. He honestly is. But we are very different personalities, Promise. And on paper, you wouldn't actually put the two of us together.
Okay.
Funnily enough, he's very extroverted.
Is he?
He's
yes, actually.
extroverted.
I've seen a bit of
he
that.
makes friends. He can collect people. What people don't realize about me is that I'm an introvert. So yes, they see me online and they see me talking, but that's me showing up for my work.
Yeah.
That's like me showing up to the office and doing what I need to do. But once those cameras and lights are off, I am very much an introvert. So our personalities are very different. But I think what we've learned to do is respect those differences.
Yeah.
And we are able to actually amplify each other's strengths. So we've got different activities that we do separately and different activities that we do together. Luckily for us, we actually do enjoy each other's company.
I love that.
But we're very clear about the fact that when it comes to showing up, we are business partners. We are not lifestyle couples. You know, you get those where you know every detail of their life and all of those. That's not us. And that will never be us because that's not what we are building. For those who are, no shade, there's nothing wrong with it, but that's not what we do.
Yeah, I hear you. So for people that want to get to work with you, what is mentoring? It's coaching. I know I got in contact with you around August.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of speaking engagements.
Yes.
I've never spoken before. And I think you saw my message like way later.
Yes.
And then I just went there. I pedaled my way through.
Yes.
But next year,
yes,
I want to do coaching.
Yeah.
Like I want to do public speaking coaching.
Yeah.
People always say that, but you do have a podcast. You speak every day. I'm like, these are two different things.
Yeah.
In a podcast, I'm having a conversation with someone.
Yes.
Public speaking, I'm addressing people or I'm speaking alone.
Absolutely.
What do you think are the key points to public speaking?
When it comes to public speaking, first of all, I've noticed that people enjoy having a mic in front of them without learning the art of public speaking. There is an art to being able to connect with your audience.
Yeah.
There is an art to being able to have people eating out of the palm of your hand. Right? There is a difference when somebody stands on stage. You can tell if they're prepared or not. You can tell if they are just grateful for the opportunity to be standing on the stage or not.
Yeah.
Because there are many people that are.
Yeah.
And then there are those where you can see this is their craft. This is their ministry. There's a very big difference, Promise.
I want to be that one.
You know?
Yeah.
And if you want to take public speaking seriously, you have to treat it like a business. You have to treat it like a business.
Yeah.
And you have to have a reason and a mission for why you are standing on the stage. Not because you love the sound of your own voice, not because you are getting a dopamine fix from the applause. Because there is a true reason for you being on that stage, and there is a mission for which you want to accomplish on that stage. Maybe there is a specific message that you want to rest in the hearts of your audience. Maybe there's an action that you want them to take, because there are different objectives for public speaking. I recommend that you take it seriously. You can get a public speaking coach. You can get somebody that critiques you. To this day, I've got people that critique me. I'll send them videos of my talk. They'll tell me about my posture, my body language, my eye contact, my tone.
There's posture.
There's posture. There are crutch words. We can count, if I'm working with someone, I'll say, oh, your crutch word is You said it 20 times.
Yes.
So you're filling in space, either because you are trying to think of the next word or because you are nervous. But it's okay to have quiet space, just for your words to marinate. There's nothing wrong with that. It's also important with public speaking, just like with any aspect of monetization, to understand what is the unique juice that Promise brings in her public speaking. So it is not Promise coming onto the stage trying to be Brene Brown, trying to be Vusite Maguire, trying to be Tim Robbins. No. It is Promise coming to the stage, being her authentic self and bringing that highest version to the stage. That's what you're trying to unearth with public speaking.
Yeah.
You see, and you can see the difference when people have been watching lots of YouTube videos and are trying to mimic other people.
Yes.
What gets you booked the most is when people realize that what Promise brings, we cannot replace it with anybody else, and therefore we must pay her to be on the stage. That's how you monetize public speaking.
I hear you. It's your essence.
It's your essence. So it's a craft. It's a craft. And that it's a craft you can take to a stage. It's a craft you can take to the boardroom. It's a craft that you can take to the grocery store queue to spark a conversation with a stranger.
Oh, wow.
Public speaking is any time you are speaking to an individual other than yourself. You're speaking in public. And you can use public speaking to strike deals. You can use public speaking to make sales. You can use public speaking to pitch your business. It's not only when there's flashing lights on a screen.
Yeah.
So learning that art of communication through your voice will actually give you an unfair advantage in life.
I love that. I love that so much. So good. It just showed me that I have a lot of work to do as far as public speaking is concerned, because I know the vision. I just want to be an excellent public speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just want to be an excellent public speaker. That's it.
And through being yourself, public speaking also, being a good speaker is not about accent.
No.
It is not about how many fancy words you know. Let's also dismiss that myth. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It is about in the way that you show up.
Yeah.
Are you able to communicate in a manner that resonates with your audience?
In your authentic self.
In your authentic self.
Sure, guys, that's just glimpse of public speaking coaching by Hetty the Entrepreneur. If you want more, you have to reach out to her. And definitely, next year I'm doing that. I know August is going to be another crazy month, but I want to prepare ahead. And I get tongue-tied, I can't articulate myself well. That's why I would use my hand, because I'm trying to make sense of what I'm saying, But anyway, next year, August Litlampona, you guys my coach will be Hetty. So Litlamojaja kanna. Anyway, Hetty, I want to speak about the big party that you do yearly.
Yes.
Sure. I saw last year's one over the phone. Carifomo. Engata, please tell us about your year-end parties.
So, this came about, the entrepreneur's year end is really the way that we close off the year as entrepreneurs. We work hard during the year, and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
We go through the absolute most, and whether you've had a good or a bad year, it's to say, listen, you've made it to the end of the year. Let's just have a day off where we meet other people, we network, we socialize, and we are able to just let our hair down just for one day.
Yeah.
And so people come, they come with their business partners, they come with their friends. We've got companies that take their teams out, and then others that bring their stakeholders and their big clients, etc. And there's networking that happens.
Yeah.
There are people that are exhibiting their products. We've had stalls that have sold out on their products, which has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We bring world-class speakers to come and address the entrepreneurs, but we also have fun as well. So it's a balance between networking, learning, and also having fun. And also it's a way for people to meet some of our corporate partners. I've had people getting sponsors just from attending our events.
Yeah.
I've had people getting really great deals and big corporate orders just from being there. And that's what we want. We want to be the bridge between corporates and entrepreneurs. We've got the corporate connections and we've got the database of entrepreneurs, and we just want to bring the two together.
Yeah.
And that's what our platforms do.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. It is not like any other event you've attended, Promise. And I say that with the greatest of humility. It's not a women empowerment event. It's not a conference. It's not a seminar. It is a day out for entrepreneurs.
Ish.
And I wanted to do something that is not a replica of what anybody else is doing, that is just unique in its own space. So if you're an entrepreneur or you love businesses and you love supporting small business, this is a perfect place for you to just come and have a great time. We've got 3 pillars: purpose, which comes through the conversations we have; pamper, we spoil our people.
Wow.
We really, really spoil the people that attend the Entrepreneurs Year-End function. And then profit, which is through people getting access to markets, access to networking, having the exhibition stands, having sales. This year, we are also giving away a prize. So we're going to give about 15,000 Rand to a business that is in attendance, just as a cash injection into their business for the festive. And it's just unique. It's a special space. It's not about Hetty. It's not about Papa. This is a faith exercise every time we do it.
Yeah.
It is about the entrepreneurial community that we serve. That's what it's about.
I can attest to your events having like entrepreneurs and corporates, and how networking can actually make you meet people.
Yes.
When we went to that funding event of yours, my first event ever of yours, I met the founder of Women Can, Dumi. She also owns Envision PR. And ever since then, we have been making business. And I met her there.
Look at that.
It's so great that.
Look at that.
Like, it's just amazing.
Yes.
Since we met at your event, we've been working together. And I'm talking about money.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Knowledge.
Yes.
You know, and she did an amazing Women Can event. Actually, I'm going to host her here as well. She did an amazing Women Can event in August on the 31st. And amazing people come to your events, you know, like-minded people come to your events. And I've realized that going to such events, don't be in your cocoon.
Yes.
Actually, maybe try not to come with somebody you know, so that you can get there and be forced to network with other people.
Absolutely. And this is exactly what our intention is when it comes to impact. And also, that is what true mentorship is. Is because we have provided the platform, you now execute. Literally just 1 month ago, a lady that attended the same funding workshop got funding to open her shop in Mainland. It's just been opened. It's been 1 month.
Wow.
Because we had the funders there,
Yes.
and we said, this is what they do. Go approach them and get the process started. I can't do it for you. I can bring them in front of you. And I can bring you to the river, but you have to drink the water yourself, right? And that's what she's done. And she's just opened her shop at Mainland. Somebody's going to look at that and say, oh, she's lucky. She's not lucky.
No.
She's
we
not
are
lucky.
fair when we enter that room.
Yes.
Everyone, we are on zero.
And that was a free event. And I always say to people, even when I host something that is free, please understand that there is a cost.
there is a cost.
There is a cost.
Yes.
Your cost on that day is showing up where you could have done so many other things.
Yes.
It is showing up. Then it is listening and saying and strategizing, this is who I'm going to speak to. Then you do it. Then you follow up. And sometimes you don't give up. Maybe they don't respond to the emails. You call, you follow up again until you get to the finish line. That is the cost.
The price, yeah.
That is
the
it.
price you pay.
Precisely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are there still tickets to the Entrepreneurs Year-End Function?
We do have a few tickets that are left. It's not many.
Yeah.
One of the biggest differences that we've done this year is last year it was a faith exercise. It was just, Lord, let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
And he showed up and showed out.
How many people did you host? You hosted a lot of people.
It was a lot of people.
I saw.
It was a lot. I mean, the venue was bursting through the seams.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
This year, upon deeper reflection, it was, okay, Lord, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Should we be chasing numbers? Should we be doubling it, going for bigger venues and doing all of these things? And what became abundantly clear to us, for us, is that would be feeding a monster. That would be feeding the monster of being ego-driven.
Chasing the next big thing.
Chasing the next big thing. Chasing the ego thing of, look how many people I'm able to draw. Look how influential my following is.
Yeah.
When in the first place, I had no business hosting that number of people with the number of followers I had.
No.
Absolutely no business.
No.
I think we can be clear on that.
No.
Absolutely none whatsoever. That's why I am the underdog.
Yeah.
And it is also why when I am obedient, God provides. And so it was to say, so actually, now that you've shown up and shown out, what is the mandate? And our mandate is impact. That is why we have gotten the number of people that have gotten funding this year. That is why we have gotten the number of people that have gotten corporate sponsorships and assistance, that have gotten grant funding this year. That's why we've been able to host the workshops that we have.
Yeah.
Because when we provide impact to our community, everything else then follows for us.
And really, it's also us who I've just told you about what I'm doing and I continue to do with somebody I've met at your event.
Exactly.
There are those that did not even tell you, but you have made a great impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we are doing this year is we're actually not chasing the numbers. We are chasing impact.
Love that.
And so the people that are going to be in attendance are the people that are meant to be there.
Yeah.
And they're going to be so heavily impacted. You know, and the corporates that have bought into our vision, it's absolutely extraordinary what they've got planned. So much of it, I just want people to experience on the day, but it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We will never, ever chase numbers. I'm 100% clear.
Yeah.
You know, because monetization also is not about that.
Yeah.
You see, I also have a responsibility to be a living representation of what I teach. I tell people it's not about the number of followers you have, it's about the quality of followers you have.
Yeah.
And it is about monetizing what you already have. And so I have to be an example of that. And so that's what people see when they come to our events or they interact with us, is that we have to be a living representation of what we preach.
Love that. I love that. Thank you so much. This was so good. You'll hear the comment section. You know, now my women, they love essence. Now I'm bringing them essence.
I'm afraid. Okay, I hope so.
Yeah, because it's just something different. It's just something different, and I love it. I love this new. It's like my passion project. This new podcast. The other one, it's also who I am, my purpose, and everything. This is my passion project.
Yes.
And the feedback that I'm getting here, it's fairly new. As I said, it's like 11th episode now. But the feedback, it's like what you said, that the numbers on this podcast are not as huge as the other podcasts, but the impact that I'm getting, even the feedback, I'm like, wow, I'm just so grateful, you know.
And, you know, let me tell you this, Promise. It was actually something that I was going to say to you is, with this particular podcast, I felt led to agree to the invitation because I don't actually agree to all invitations. I just don't for a number of reasons.
Thank you.
But this particular one I did, and the reason was because I feel that you are wanting to go in a particular direction. You know, often at times when we start these projects, we get the clicks, we get the views, we get all of these things. It's a dopamine fix. It's really, really nice. And then you get to a point where it's like, okay, but what is all of this for?
Yes.
And what is the impact that I'm making? And I think that's where you are finding yourself at the moment. And I thought, you know what, if I do this, I know it's also going to open doors for other people to want to feel comfortable to come here.
Yes.
But also promise it's not going to be the world's sexiest podcast.
No. I tell you, I have 2 different podcasts.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the numbers are that side.
Exactly.
And this side.
Exactly. But let me tell you what's going to happen this side. It's going to fulfill you.
Yes.
You're going to feel like, wow, this is incredible. It's going to impact people. It's going to uplift them.
Yeah.
And you are going to find other ways that you can monetize using this.
Yes.
That you aren't able to with the other one. So the other one is going to be great from a Google AdSense perspective and all of that. But this one can actually set you up in other ways that you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So I really want to encourage you on this path to continue on that.
Thank you.
And just continue leaning into whatever is next for Promise. It isn't always clear in the beginning. But just leaning into just that inner voice and direction that I think I should do this, I think I should do that. Sometimes when you think that, it's also God just whispering to you to say this is where you should go. So I really want to encourage you on your path as well.
Thank you.
And don't allow anything to disturb or distract you. Especially loud noises that feel as though they need a response. Don't. Our mission in life is so much bigger than that, Promise. It really, really is. And often at times these distractions come because our purpose is so big. It won't come if your purpose is small.
No.
If you're meant to be in the corner over there, who's going to bother you?
Nobody.
Of course, distraction comes when something big is in store for you. So remember that.
Yeah.
I often have to remind myself when the distraction comes, it means I'm about to hit big. Let me keep focusing. So I just want to leave you with that word for you.
Thank you, Hetty. I really appreciate it. Like you've just hit the nail where you're supposed to hit, like on the coffin, and really, like, thank you. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
But guys, I guess at the year-end function.
Yes.
On the
7th of December.
At the Fortress venue.
Yes.
Please get your tickets. You'll see me there. You'll see my business there. And you know what? This year-end function, if you're not making this year, throughout next year, make it like your spot where you spoil yourself, just a thank you to yourself. You can budget, then when they take out the tickets, then you can be able to buy and just attend and spoil yourself. Anyway, guys, Hetty, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time. Guys, thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.